Roundtable. From the Colorado Business Roundtable studios in Denver, you're listening to the voice of the Colorado Business Roundtable, focusing on issues around business, policy, and education with leaders across local, national, and international communities, making a difference and driving business success. This is Connect and Collaborate on KDMT, Denver's Money Talk, 1690 AM.
Hello and welcome to Connect and Collaborate. I'm Alex Hopkins, your on-air producer, and I am so excited and honored to have guests in studio today. I have with me Hannah Brown Cohen. She is a campaign director for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, specifically the Rocky Mountain region, LLS.
Yes.
And we also have Bob Roth, who is the president of Roth Collaborative Resources Incorporated. But you're here in a capacity dealing with LLS and a cool campaign that you guys have. It's called Man and Woman of the Year, or MWOY, if people want to look that up. So I'm excited to talk about this. I personally know people that have been touched by lymphoma, leukemia. I lost an uncle to blood cancer just last year. So,
oh my.
I'm so sorry.
Well, thank you. But it is something that touches all of our lives. As a matter of fact, I think one of the last stats that I saw was there is a person, an American, who is diagnosed with a blood cancer every 3 minutes.
Yep, that's right.
It's outstanding. So I want to get started here, but one of the first things that I do with all of my guests is I have you guys introduce yourselves, and then we'll talk about LLS and what capacity you're in here.
Great.
So Bob, I'm going to start with you, and we'll talk about your background and your association with LLS.
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you very much for inviting us here today. We really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah.
So Bob Roth, I was born in Leadville, Colorado. Not very many people can say that. Pretty exclusive group. And I got very accidentally into the construction industry 35 years ago. I always tell people I started with a shovel in my hand, and that's true. Worked my way up through the ranks to become business development director for a couple of different companies over the years. And just last year, I decided to go ahead and start my own consulting firm doing business development activities for a couple of clients. And really, it's as much as anything, it's about opening doors for them, making introductions. So because I have a pretty broad network. I have a second job that I'm an elected official in the city of Aurora. I represent Ward 5, which is about 63,000 people. And actually this year in 2019, I'm also the mayor pro tem for the city of Aurora. And what that means is that if the mayor's on vacation or double booked or can't make an event, I represent the city as the mayor at that event. So that's kind of in a nutshell my career and my outside activities as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Bob. I have to ask real quick. I live in Aurora, so Can I write you directly when I have an issue?
Yes, you can.
I can. Awesome.
BobRoth.org. Bob Roth at auroragov.org.
Perfect.
Yeah.
He's very responsive. He'll get back to you right away.
Good to know. I actually didn't expect a yes answer, so I really appreciate that.
Well, one of the things I do that most elected officials call me crazy for is I give out my cell phone number. And they go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But I want to be accessible.
I love hearing that. That for me stands out. So I will definitely keep that name in mind next time I go to the ballot.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Well, Hannah, let's hear about your background and how you got started into LLS.
Yeah, and I just want to echo Bob. Thank you so much for having us here. We're really excited to be on the show. I was born and raised in Wisconsin and spent the majority of my life in the Midwest until about 4 years ago. I kind of hit my limit with the winters and decided, like many others, to venture west to Colorado. So sorry, everybody, your traffic's a little worse because of me, but you have a beautiful state, and I haven't looked back. I went to college for nonprofit management, so it was always important to me to be involved in the nonprofit industry, and I've had a number of different jobs in different fields within nonprofit, but when I moved out to Colorado, I was really looking to get into the medical focus. And I was lucky enough to actually not have a personal connection. A lot of people who start working for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society have a connection to blood cancer. And I was very lucky to be able to say that I didn't. And that's, kind of rare, unfortunately, like you were saying before. it's very prevalent and it's all over. And so I was lucky enough to not have that personal connection when I first started with LLS 4 years ago. Fortunately and unfortunately, through my time with LLS, I have many, many personal connections, and I work with incredible people who are very closely tied to the disease and care so much about what we're doing moving forward through my work with LLS. But then also personally, I've had friends diagnosed since I started with LLS, which is crazy. But the thing about blood cancer is that it doesn't discriminate. It is any age, any race, any gender, any whatever. It's unfortunately, it touches a lot of people, but that's why we're doing what we're doing.
Which is astounding work. I was checking out the website, and there's lots of ways for people to get involved in, especially with LLS. And I just want everyone to know that it is the world's largest voluntary health agency dedicated to blood cancer, which is exciting in and of itself. And if anyone chooses to make a donation, please know that they're a 501c3 and that they're all tax deductible, which is kind of nice for your wallet at the end of the year.
Right.
But you should make a donation anyway out of the kindness of your heart, but I digress.
Agreed.
Yes. So we have an elected official, somebody who's been in the construction world for 35 years here, and we have someone representing LLS. Obviously, you both are here for one reason. You're working together. So tell me a little bit about how you got involved and LLS. And we mentioned earlier the Man and Woman of the Year campaign, which is just one of many ways that people can fundraise for LLS, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to jump in first
please.
and just, I'd love to talk a little bit about the organization and the work that we're doing so people have a good idea and are feeling inclined to get involved in one way or another. So our mission is to find a cure for blood cancer, and that's all blood cancer. And it actually goes beyond that as well. The research that we fund, that's the first part of our mission, is we invest very heavily in groundbreaking research because there's no way to prevent or screen for blood cancer. So when you have it, you have it. And we want to be ready with the best treatments that available. And so we invest really heavily in the research. In fact, over our existence since the 1960s, LLS has invested more than $1.2 billion in blood cancer research, and we are really seeing the results from those investments. It's actually incredible. In the last 2+ years, and since 2017, there have been 41 new drugs and therapies approved just for blood cancer by the FDA, and LLS had a hand in funding 36 of those, which is an incredibly high percentage, but more importantly, we're seeing the progress. We're moving away from some of these more toxic treatments and towards, we call it a better hammer, not a bigger hammer. And, it's allowing people to go through these treatments, take a pill instead of brutal chemotherapy and radiation. It's just, the progress we're seeing is amazing, and that translates directly to lives being saved. The second part of our mission is patient support. We invest very, very heavily in providing basically whatever you can think of for a patient and their family while they're going through it. And that can range from financial assistance. We offer copay assistance. And just in our Rocky Mountain region last year, we provided more than $1.2 million in copay assistance. It's very expensive to have cancer, and we want our patients to be able to focus as much as possible on their treatment and getting better and think just a little bit less about the financial burden. We also have a wealth of resources from the educational side, just about any disease you can think of, because there are many different types of blood cancer. We've got information about it provided free of charge online. We also can send stuff to folks who are less inclined to use the internet. Really, we just want to get it in the hands of our patients and their families so they don't have to go down the rabbit hole of Googling something, which many doctors advise against. And then we also have an information resource center that you can call in and ask any questions from, again, am I eligible for financial assistance, to I was just diagnosed and I have no idea, I'm seeing my doctor tomorrow, what questions should I even be asking? Or I relapsed, my treatment didn't work, is there a clinical trial that I'm eligible for? Our people will do the research for them, again, so that they don't have to kind of go down that rabbit hole online. We also have emotional support that we offer our patients and caregivers. We have a Patty Robinson Kaufman First Connection program, and that is where we'll link you up with somebody who's had your same diagnosis. So if you're newly diagnosed and you just want to talk to somebody who's been through it, we have trained volunteers who have been through it. They know exactly what their treatment is coming up, and they can talk to you about what their experience was and just provide that level of support, just from having been through it themselves. And then the last part of our mission, and I'll let somebody else talk in a second, but the last part of our mission is advocacy. So we have folks on the ground, both in Washington and locally all around the country, representing our patients and making sure that we're looking out for their best interests, whether it's protecting their ability to get insurance and have their treatments paid for, protecting what treatments are covered by insurance, moving drugs and treatments through the FDA approval process to get them from bench to bedside. It's all well and good if we can find the cure, but if our patients don't have access to it, then really what's the point? And so we come at our mission from all three of those angles to wholly support the patient and do everything we can to create a world without blood cancers.
That is amazing, and I have to ask, these services, are they free, minimal cost?
Absolutely free of charge. Yep.
That is awesome to hear. So again, donations are so helpful. They can go to someone. I think one of my favorite things, the financial cost, you said 1.2 million that you spent on patients in the Rocky Mountain region last year.
Just in our region.
And that is huge because, as you said, there is no discrimination when it comes to blood cancer.
Right.
So that includes financial status.
Exactly. Yeah, even if you have incredible insurance, there's still copays, there's still, it really adds up. And then there are those who don't have incredible insurance. And so, we really see the benefit of that to provide to our patients and their families.
Oh, 100%. Well, let's talk about your foray into falling in with LLS. And first of all, I imagine that hearing this pulls at your heartstrings a little bit like it does mine.
Sure, absolutely it does. Yeah, my mother passed away of cancer when I was 25. It wasn't lymphoma or leukemia, but, cancer's cancer. And quite honestly, one of the other things that really pulled at my heartstrings is one of my fellow Aurora City Council members, Francoise Bergen, was diagnosed just a month after she was elected in 2015. And I'm very close with her, and I saw the struggles that she went through, and even with everything that she's in a position with her family and with her life and financially that she wasn't in the same position a lot of people are. But even then, you still have the same challenges. It's just a matter of how you can get through them. So watching what she went through was something that really motivated me as well. So I was approached by David Einfeld, who's construction professional as well, and we've known each other for decades. And I should have known that there was something up when he invited me for coffee, and we hadn't seen each other in 5 or 6 months. But we met for coffee and having a nice conversation, and 20 minutes in, he said, "By the way," so when he explained the program to me, I said, absolutely, I want to take the next step. And so I was introduced to the LLS team, to Farah and Hannah, and started down this path. So.
Awesome. Well, how's it been so far for you?
It's been really good. We start off with kind of a campaign kickoff, like any campaign. We met at a restaurant in Aurora, one of my favorite places in Aurora, and there were about 30 people, I believe, at the kickoff. And it was friends and family, people that, including Francoise. I wanted her and her husband to be there. But it was just a matter of kind of forming the team that is the nucleus of the people that are going to help me down this path. And then honestly, I started just going through my LinkedIn connections and my Rolodex and just started sending out emails. And Jeff Wasden was definitely high on the list of somebody that I wanted to reach out to. Jeff and I have known each other for several years. I know that he has a very broad base of connections as well. And so I wanted to solicit his support, and I'm so grateful once again that he was able to introduce us to you and get us in this forum.
And we're definitely happy to help you get the word out about this. And again, the campaign that you're referring to here is the Man and Woman of the Year. So we want to talk a little bit about what that campaign entails. You mentioned that the kickoff was with 30 people. I know that there's like a mid point that you meet again, and then at the end there's a really nice gala where you come together and you find out who the man and woman of the year are. If you don't mind giving some details about what all this entails, I appreciate it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's actually a 10-week fundraising competition, and we recruit Denver leaders like Bob to get involved. And it's, it takes people who are willing to go through all their LinkedIn contacts and reach out to everybody they know and, do everything they can to get involved with this mission. And those are the kind of people that we want on our team. So this year we have 16 candidates who are running. There's 10 men and 6 women. It always varies from year to year.
Okay.
But we work really closely with each candidate to build out their plan. So like Bob said, he drew together this big team of people who were wanting to support him in his efforts, but also, bottom line, just wanted to get involved with the mission. So throughout the 10 weeks, our candidates all have a slightly different approach to it. Some throw events, and some, reach out to corporate sponsors, and some really just tap their network, and some do all of that. And really, that's what it takes is, I'll keep saying it, leaving no stone unturned, because I truly believe, I don't say this lightly, I think a cure is possible in our lifetime, but not unless we get everybody involved. And that's why people like Bob are so crucial to what we're doing. So like you said, I think you talked to Dave for just a little bit, and he just jumped right in, and he was on board with what we're doing. He felt personally connected to the mission. And I also just wanted to draw back on, you said before, cancer is cancer. And one of the things about the research that LLS is funding is it's actually impacting cancer outside of blood cancer as well. The research we're seeing is having this ripple effect, that it's being tested in other types of cancer and proving successful there as well. So the impact it's great within the field of blood cancer. It's even greater as we see that ripple effect out into other types of cancer. So anyway, back to the campaign. At the end of the 10 weeks, it's very crazy and competitive and exciting. It's also very secretive within the campaign. So Bob knows how much he's raised, but he has no idea how much any of the other candidates have raised.
So there's no way of telling how close that gap is.
No.
Exactly.
Oh, that would frustrate me.
So the night of the gala is a big unveiling, of course.
Okay.
So we culminate the campaign with our big grand finale gala, and it's a very exciting night. There's a silent auction and a paddle raise, and just the energy in the room is incredible. We bring together all 16 candidates with their teams and with a ton of people from the Denver community. It's actually 750 people. So it's a big night, and that's when we announce the winner of Man and Woman of the Year.
That is so exciting. So I want to ask you all the secrets, but obviously I can't. If they won't even tell Bob, you're not going to tell me.
I'm one of a few people who knows, but my lips are sealed.
I think another important aspect of the gala itself is that there's a boy of the year and a girl of the year that are at the event, and they're kind of the poster children for the event, and so they'll be there with their families, and it's an opportunity to meet and connect with people that are actually being affected by this personally.
Yeah, I would imagine that gives you a face, right? Because I think a lot of times when people donate or get involved with things like this, right, you maybe have somebody in your past that you think about, and that will motivate you. But sometimes saying cancer is very faceless.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it really can be. And so people struggle with that a lot. And so I think it's lovely, too, that you do have the Boy and Girl of the Year, quote unquote, to be the poster children of this. It's a little more motivating and showing exactly where this is going to go, and lives that are actually going to change because of what you've been able to raise.
Right.
You're exactly right. And they are 2 incredible young children, and 2 of, unfortunately, many. Leukemia is the most common cancer that affects children, but these 2 are amazing. Their names are Brody and Gabriella, and Brody he's 10 years old, and he's beat cancer now 4 times, which is heartbreaking for a 10-year-old to have gone through that. But he was the recipient of CAR T-cell therapy, which is a really groundbreaking therapy that was approved by the FDA for pediatric patients in 2017. It's the reason he's alive, and it was funded by LLS more than 20 years ago. And, it's not easy for him and his family to share their story, but they're doing it because they don't want another family to have to go through what they did, and they want these better options for them. And then Gabriella is 9 years old, and she is just hilarious. She is the spunkiest little girl, and she'll tell you exactly what's on her mind. And she very fortunately just finished her chemo treatment towards the end of last year, and she's doing amazing. So they're both these incredible kids that are sharing their story for the benefit of others, and to inspire all the candidates who are running. And it's a pretty special thing. We'll celebrate with them that night.
That is really exciting.
Yeah.
I want to ask you here, Bob. I obviously you had no trouble getting involved. You thought about your mom, and it was really just easy for you to slip into this role. How tough has it been, quite honestly, to get people to write you back? Right? You're kind of soliciting. It's for a wonderful cause, and I highly recommend, if you're going to solicit, this is a great cause to solicit for. But how has it been for you running this campaign?
It is time consuming. There's no denying it. And between my business and then my elected position, I serve on a half a dozen boards and commissions, and I'm being pulled a lot of different directions. Having said that, we're all busy. It's just what we choose to spend our time on. And I'm choosing to spend my time on the things that are important to me, including this. I haven't been able to dedicate the amount of time I would have liked to because of other polls, but it's been very rewarding just to be able to, and we've got a little over 2 weeks left. And so here's the ask. Here's the ask. The ask is that if you go to www.MWOY, which is Man and Woman of the Year, .org/RM for Rocky Mountain, and search my name, Bob Roth, ROTH. So I'll do that again. It's MWOY.org/RM, and search for Bob Roth, ROTH. And I would just encourage anybody who feels that this is something that they could support, which I think should be everybody, of course, that they go to that and click on donate and help the cause.
Yes, wonderful. I also, for those of you that are interested, you can also visit cobrt.com/radio-LLS. We've also hooked
Fantastic.
up, your donation page right there, so people can donate there as well, and you can find more in the description below.
That's awesome.
And there's no donation too small. Every dollar counts, and the reason that this campaign is so successful is because people reach out to every part of their network, and some people can write a massive check, and that's incredible. Some people can give $20. That's also incredible because they're committing to what we're doing, and every single dollar is incredibly important to what we're doing and to our mission and to how we're getting there. And I just want to say a quick thank you to Bob, because you do have a life and a family and a job, several jobs, but you didn't hesitate. And it's people like Bob who don't make excuses, who are just in it for the right reasons, that are the reason we're successful.
So that title has no bearing on your participation.
No, it's I think one of the words I would use that is absolutely true is humbling. This has been very humbling. So it's been a great journey, and we got a little over 2 weeks left. So
we're not done.
We'll keep pushing.
Keep pushing. I love that. Your work is commendable. I love that the LLS has such amazing stats here. Again, that's $1.2 million that you spent on patients just in the Rocky Mountain region last year. You've invested $1.2 billion in research. That's LLS as a whole. And research is where it starts. That's where we find a cure.
That's right.
That's exactly right.
Yes. Thank you both so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. Again, visit MWOY.org/RM and search Bob Roth, BOBROTH. Thank you both so much.
Thank
it's been
you.
a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.